Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. Hello, Chop Squad. Audrey Wiggins here, your host, and I'm excited to be with you as always and excited for my guest. His name is goes by Raj Tulshan. He is the founder and managing member of Loan Mantra, a financial advisory firm with best-in-class and proprietary fintech or Blue borrow lender underwriting environment. So that's your Blue there. Thanks, Raj. Loan Mantra is powered by Blue and is next level finance, a one-stop shop for business borrowers to secure traditional SBA and MCA financing from trusted lenders in a secure, collaborative, and transparent environment. So Raj is going to tell us more about his background and why he's here today after this announcement.
Knock out your competition with Altogether Marketing. We elevate your brand. Take a stance with your business name, logo, the tagline, your colors, even the fonts for your business. And then jab left with your website, jab right with core values. Back up with product experience and bring it on with you. Visit altogether.biz and let us help you create a knockout brand.
We're back. Raj, welcome to the Business Shop.
Morning, Audrey. How are you? Thank you for having me on the show.
You are welcome. It's great to have you here. So right off the rip, name one or two fun things that you would like to share with us, the Chop Squad here.
Well, first, I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and like a lot of people, migrated here from New York. Best decision, because you know what? Charleston is God country. We have great food, great beaches, and guess what? The show, I don't know how many of you see, one of my colleagues, she watches Southern Charm. It's shot right outside my office. They do the shooting up there. Seriously, no jokes. I watch these people do. I've never seen it, so I don't know anything about it. But one of my colleagues, Emily, swears by it. I just found out one of my neighbors is on that show, etc. And then recently, what was the other thing? Gemstone. They were shot in Charleston. So Charleston is, that's where I'm from. And again, Loan Mantra is my company. We started this company to work with small businesses. We are a financial advisory and end-to-end fintech platform, and essentially looking forward to having this exciting conversation on how to navigate small business lending.
Awesome. I was actually there in Charleston a couple years ago. We had a family vacation, so it's very beautiful, as you talked about. Love it.
Oh, my God. I say this with good jest, right? I moved from New York. I was spoiled with the good food here. And then I came to Charleston and they upped the game. I mean, if not for any other reason, not for the good weather where we have 4 months of spring coming up in less than a month. And then, I'm sorry, I'm just talking.
As I'm freezing up here.
Not for our beautiful beaches where you can go miles and miles of walking. Come here for the food, because I promise you, the best food scene outside of New York I've seen is in Charleston, and you can get anything and everything. And if you don't believe me, just call me and I'll tell you the places to go to. I can count them on top of. Last year I went to a place and I was like, this is just like absolute. And the best part about it, it's cheap. It is not expensive. Charleston, there you go. So it's not heavy, and people are super nice. And that's about South, right? People are always smiling. You asked me a fun fact, and I'm going to stop after this. I promise. I love to.
Okay.
But when I first moved here, and I used to I take walks like in New York, and one of the things somebody said, Raj, you do not smile. And I was like, what does that mean? So then one of my neighbors was like, you walk around with a straight face. I'm like, oh, then I realized everybody around me greets each other and smiles. Yeah. And when people come and visit me, he's like, do you know that person? Do you know a lot of people? No, I don't know them. They're just somebody who live in my neighborhood, and I smile and I wave to them. And that's just Southern hospitality. Everybody is super nice to you. So can't go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. All right. First question.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your background. You talked a little bit, but give us some about your background.
Look, I'm from Kolkata, India. I grew up in a community full of entrepreneurs, right? My dad had his own business. My uncles had their own business. My mom, who was a traditional housewife, but she had a small home business of clothing. I was always inspired to one day have my own business. When I came here, I did my bachelor's degree, and then I was fortunate to work for one of the investment banks in New York City, Merrill Lynch. I learned a lot from some of the best people in the industry. You learned how to be great. You learned how to be competitive. I got fortunate to go and do my master's at University of Oxford, and that's where the real inspiration for Loan Mantra came about. So you know how I spoke about my investment banking background. One of the things, and I'm going to date myself here, when I joined during that time, there was that whole concept of one-stop shop. What I'm talking about is, remember when I think Travelers merged with Salomon Brothers, merged with Citibank to become Citigroup. And the concept behind that was simple. An individual goes into a financial institution, makes a deposit, cash deposit, business, and against that deposit, the financial institution gives a loan to to that individual or another individual in the community. Now you have 10 different loans, a mortgage, an auto loan, etc. You pool all of that together and you create securities against that. Those same securities by that institution is then sold to the individual or another institution as a financial investment tool or a savings tool. For example, a bond is sold into your 401k program, etc. And essentially that ecosystem continues. In my master's program, I saw the exact same thing. I was fortunate to part of my summer consulting program at Oxford, they sent us to Silicon Valley. And what we did was we interviewed individuals and small businesses and incubators and saw that there was an ecosystem. The Caltech train line, I must have visited so many businesses out there. And one of the things I saw was businesses were able to access services and advice and just interact with other businesses with quite needs. Unfortunately, that is what I saw, and it's ironically still missing to some level in the larger national ecosystem for small businesses. And Loan Mantra was essentially created out of that need. We are using our technology platform to ease a lot of the issues that small businesses face. It is essentially our way to offer corporate-sized services to businesses of all sizes.
Yeah, that is that networking piece and bringing those people together. I think that's real important. You get those like minds. Yep. So you touched on this a little bit with the last question, but how did you get started in finance? I don't know if you want to add any more to that.
No, absolutely. So look, when I joined into the business, one of the things I saw was like business owners were always struggling. They used to go to their financial institution to get a loan, or they would then get turned down, etc. I'll give you a great example, and I'll jump back. By the way, throughout, but ignore my movie references because I see things and I'm like I visualize and I was like, oh hey, that relates to me. So if you make movie references, just take that as another geek talk and just ignore it for now. I apologize, Audrey. So everybody's seen the movie, or most of us have seen the movie Catch Me If You Can, right? Abigail is Frank Abigail Sr., Frank Abigail Jr., played by Christopher Walken and Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Where Christopher Walken is Frank Abigail Sr. And one of the reflective scenes that Leonardo does is he goes back in time and he recalls his father saying, "Son, I'm putting on my suit. I'm going in a chauffeur-driven car today. I'm going to my banker in New York City, Chase Manhattan Bank, and he's going to be, when he sees the driver open the door for me, he is going to give me the loan I need." Unfortunately, what happens is Frank Abigail Sr. gets there, and the suit, the car doesn't help the banker, impress the banker, and he does not get the loan, and he goes on a downward spiral. Exactly. Unfortunately, that happens even today. And that is what the problem is with most small businesses today. Look, I am very fortunate, right? I started in an industry where I worked with larger corporations. I always say that the only difference on what I do today versus what I did while working for Mother Merrill was essentially the couple of zeros in the back end. and a lot bigger egos. When I worked, obviously, we worked with larger companies, larger transaction. Now
Yeah.
we work with small business owners. One thing I've learned, business owners are phenomenal, honest to God, phenomenal at what they do. I can tell you stories of my favorite client who started out being a gas station owner in the cold winter of Washington State. He put socks around his hand and pumped gas in the car. And today he has multiple gas station and truck stops. So his problem was he did not understand the world of finance. He did not know how to communicate. And I can, Audrey, it depends on how much time we have. I can go on with multiple examples of
Mhm.
business owners, tech entrepreneurs, hotel owners, bodega owners, Subway, a quick service restaurant owner who have all faced this problem. Loan
Yeah.
Mantra is essentially the way to create this and solve these problems, give them access to capital. Let's make the process easier, give them service providers that will help them essentially grow their business. And because I am focused, look, I'll be the first one to admit I am a small business owner. I just like everybody else. I roll up my sleeve every morning, come to work. I have colleagues who come in, and all of us are going through the same grind every day, that same ups and downs.
Mhm.
So we know what is required to succeed, and that's what we are trying to do through Loan Mantra.
You talked about the journey of the small business, the problems that you're solving for us, and that is so true. Sometimes we just don't understand that whole finance ecosystem and what to do and getting turned down. Every time I have this type of conversation, it takes me all the way back to
Mhm.
1992 when I had created the business plan and all the
Yep.
documents and went into the bank, and of course they turned me down, and it's like you never forget that. It's like, oh,
Yep.
and but here I am today.
There you go. And that's the thing, right? The look, entrepreneurship is a gift and a curse, right?
Mhm.
It's a gift in the sense that you're your own boss. You are creating your own destiny. You are helping so many people, touching so many things. I mean, I can talk about like, we can see about the migration ships are happening all the day, but
Yeah.
all of that impacts entrepreneurship on all the curse aspect of it, unfortunately, is look, it's a journey. It's a small, like right from what you said correctly, is it started with you writing that business plan, you walking, you pounding the pavement back in the days and going from one financial institution to the other, and just a stab one after the other. Thank you, Miss Wiggins. Thank you, Miss Wiggins. Thank you, Miss Wiggins. But till somebody agrees. And that's exactly now. Imagine in an environment like that, you have a partner such as Lone Mantra. You come in, and throughout the show, pretty sure we'll discuss one way, but you can come in, complete your application, go through, complete create a history for yourself. And that's when you're like, okay, I got this. I don't need to be finding my pavement from 1 to 3. I'm part of my journey. I have a partner working with me. I'm going from point A to point B. So all of that it's extremely important. So first of all, to every entrepreneur out there, congratulations, but at the same time, good luck. It is the best thing you're going to do, and be very nice to your spouse. If every time I can speak for my family, right? My wife is, thank God, is the most patient woman I have ever met on the planet, because there are days I am just like, I am ready to, scale Mount Everest, and the other days I'm ready to bang my head against the wall. And that
Yep.
woman helps me all the way around. So
Mhm.
fingers crossed to that, to family.
Yep, we need that support system for real, because hanging out there as an entrepreneur is weird enough as it is.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. No, it is. It's a journey, man. It's a journey.
Yeah, we get these ideas and for products or services. Some folks are creating things out of their hands, their brains in their hands. It's everybody doesn't get that, and
Hmm.
so it's important. Our support systems are so important.
No, and we are fortunate to be a part of a country where entrepreneurs are the biggest pioneers. Look at it right now. If you think about it, Google, Facebook, Amazon, all these companies were
Mhm,
started by one or two individuals,
that's
and
right.
they're the largest company in the
Yeah.
country. What does that tell you about the ecosystem of the country? We've got this. And I mean, I just saw you, by the way, that show you did with Sahara.
Mhm.
I have that pinged to watch. I'm very excited. I was listening to parts of it. AI is a huge new change that is coming about, and we are there's gonna be so much changes. And again, we right there, we are at the forefront of everything. So fortunately, as an entrepreneur, we're at the right place at the right time. And look, and that's what I say this in good jest, is like business owners are extremely good at what they do. They just need that extra support. And I guess that's the reason the company Loan Mantra, we're here to help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because that financial piece is probably,
Extremely.
yeah, oh yes, extreme. Yeah, you're right. It's not even I shouldn't even say it probably, but
It is extremely.
it is.
It is. Look, having a
Hmm.
strong steady stream of cash flow is
Yeah.
extremely important. I always joke about this, but it's like how blood is to your veins and your system. A good steady cash flow
Yeah.
is for your business,
Yeah.
and it is imperative that one has a very good understanding in first, hey, where is my business? How is my business going to grow? And what is the capital that is required for me to get there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, please don't be afraid of the numbers part. We're good at counting, like how much I'm taking.
Yeah.
I'm selling this for this, but what's the big picture of that? I wanted to read a quote that you has sent me, and it talks about like how important is access to capital for
Yeah.
small businesses. You kind of talked about it there. You stated like almost half, 43% of small businesses applied for a loan last year, according to the Federal Small Business Agency. And a study done by U.S. Bank found that 82% of businesses failed due to
Yeah.
cash flow. You just talked about that through cash flow mismanagement.
Absolutely true. I mean,
Yeah.
I see this all the time. Business owner, just exactly what you said. I know how much I want to sell this for, how much it is. But in that midst of all of that, people forget that, oh, I need to manage my cash in, cash out. Look, I it is important. I say this every time I speak to my small business client is like, hey, when you come in and you are or turning the lights on every day, at the end of the day, once a month, just you get a bank statement, reconcile your bank statement with with what's going on with your business, with daily operation. Every quarter, just do a quick profit and loss statement to see how to put a pulse, do a pulse check. Be like, hey, how am I doing today? How's my business? How am I looking? What did I do last quarter? That will tell me what I'm going to do next 3 months. Every 6 months, talk to somebody such as Loan Mantra, or you know what? Talk to your accountant. Talk to anybody who has a good understanding. Your colleagues, and be like, hey, this is how my business has been doing. And then once a year, make sure you do a profit and loss statement, a proper one prepared, and just to say, how did my business do? Look, this is the beginning of the year. What we did last year is good. This year is going to be a reflection of what we did last year. So having a very good understanding of just how the season went for you you can much better map it out. If I talk about, look, access to capital and the way to get to that capital has been the biggest challenge that small business owners face today. I can let's think about it this way. If I were a betting man, I will tell you quite easily that small business owners today, if they had a streamlined process, if they had a known access, their businesses, the biggest pain point would be gone. There'll be so much more improvement in the growth of the business. Uh, Look, I say this in good jest. Today, a business owner, when you said it, when you started your business, you had to take your business plan, etc. And here you are today. I can assure you, throughout your journey, you must have at least reached out to a financial institution at least 6 times to get access to capital.
That's
What
right.
does that mean? You had to spend hours before that in interacting with the financial institution.
And that's the key, the back work, the back end that
Yep.
we have to do to even go to the bank. It's like I can't afford the time to put in,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
taken away from production or sales costs. I mean, it's crazy.
No,
But that
and
you still need it.
That's exactly what it is, Audrey. And and that's where we come into play. That's where somebody such as Loan Mantra comes into play. Look, you correctly said in the beginning, borrower, lender, underwriting environment. There's the borrower, there's the lender. That's a technology platform. So imagine when you started your business, go ahead and complete your application. Yeah, Loan Mantra. What is Loan Mantra? Loan Mantra is an end-to-end financial technology platform. What does that mean? It means that when an individual comes in to get a loan or to get a loan for a future date, it will ask you relevant set of questions, thereby navigating the entire process and completing everything. And the end to end, the at the back end of it, it will encourage you to upload documents. And what it does essentially is it helps you to create your narrative. It helps you to create your story, have everything organized. What'll happen with that? Yes, I don't need the money today, right? But 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road, I will go and get a business expansion loan, or I'll get an equipment loan, a working capital. 3 months down the road, I am not scrambling for that and for that paperwork. I'm calling my accountant, lawyer, everybody, and trying to get everything. What I'm doing at that point is essentially I have everything in a repository. I have my questions done up and everything. And at that point, my business language is converted into the language that the financial institution understands, and we push it right out. I'm going to say two things. One of my colleagues best explained it to me the other day. She's like, look, it's like the senior who's applying for college but starts the application in December before he's going to college, versus the sophomore and the junior who is starting the process and has a huge runway ahead of them. It gives them the flexibility. And more importantly, think about it from the perspective of the lending institution. Look, we work with lenders across the United States, a diverse group of lenders, because we work in industry, a diverse group of industry, and no one lender can always do all sorts of loans. I have never come across that. That's a myth. So, and we can talk about that in the future. But the biggest thing a lender, including our conversation yesterday, was loss mitigation, loss mitigation, loss mitigation. The lender is trying to reduce the liability or the chances of a loss on a loan. So if he or she sees the history of this individual who has given them everything, has everything from day one, they're not just looking at today's performance, they're looking at all of that historical performance that's sitting in Loan Mantra. They've got this. They will be more receptive to a small business owner than anybody else that I know of. And I promise you, it's a true statement. Take it from me if you want. Just go and try it, and you'll see what I mean by that. One last thing I'm going to add to this is, like, think about it. The access to capital is surrounded by the ability to do the loan application. I will tell you this, and the word I use the most for that is nonsense. The entire application process is just so long and it's just so painful, cumbersome. End of the day, all it is in 6 sets. It'll ask you, hey, tell us about the loan you're looking for. Tell us about the business you have currently, who the owners are, and tell us about the owners. Hey, give me your background. Give me your, work experience. Tell me a little bit of your personal financials. And that at the end, just give me the documents to support that. That's it. Of all the noise, I've demystified it for you.
That part I don't get. And even the same when you're trying to apply for certifications with the local, state, and federal level. I mean, the application, and all this information that they have to use, like, it's a deterrence. Like, do I really care? I'll take my chances on the regular marketplace.
Honest to God, sometimes I feel like those have been put in place to get you to weed out the people, because the hardest working people are unfortunately not the ones who are applying for that. I'm not saying that's true, but that's what I feel like. I'm there with you. I've gone through some of those processes. I'm like, but why? Why is it like, look, I can, when somebody comes into Loan Mantra, right, as they're completing the application, we are pulling information from all these various silos that are sitting there and helping complete this process. And by virtue of that, what are we doing? We just took this humongous thing and just truncated it down into these 5 or 6 simple things that we are working. We're trying to get people to Mars.
Right. Exactly. And it's not going to help. You have a 20-page application.
Yeah.
It's almost like the technology before was just paper, pen, right? It wasn't even a typewriter at that point. It seems to me they just took that paper application and dumped the whole thing or translated it into the computer program.
Yep.
And it's like, do we really need to ask all of those questions? Do you need all information? And some of those, showing my ignorance now, but some of those financial documents, I'm like, I've never even heard of that crap. What is it? It's just something a major corp maybe has those things, but even then, they were invented so long ago.
It just is. Sometimes you feel like, look, as I said earlier, I'm very intrigued and I'm dying to finish listening to that show you had on AI.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, and look, you are the tech diva, truly are. I've been watching through some of your stuff, and you have a repository of data information in there. And today we are in the day and age of AI. Everything is AI, etc. And for good reasons. We have incorporated a whole right now. I'm looking at my screen as I talk to you. That's you, me, and right there is Read AI. It's transcribing.
Yes,
Imagine.
yes.
Right there, people. That's exactly that's where we are going. So that those redundancies that we have in the process, which small business, the pain points, one of the biggest pain points that both borrowers and lenders have is documentation and the process flow. So if you take the documentation and push it through AI system, I'll give you a great example. We just introduced this thing on our platform Blue, which is essentially when somebody comes into Loan Mantra, they will upload their tax return, and from that, it will populate your cash flow. It's an AI program that's running in the background, reading your tax return and completing that. That's like 4-5 hours of work was just it's phenomenal. Like it blew my mind up when I started doing that. So things like that are going to help, but the problem is adoption. Audrey, I'm going to date myself again, and I there's no way not to do that. Besides my white hair sprinkling out of my head, it is. Yeah, hey, I have thought about it every now and then. A little bit of red black blush would
It
help me out.
Looks good on you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You're kind. Thank you. So look, it was fine for a generation to go to a bank, do paperwork. It is fine for even now, most of our entrepreneurs like interpersonal touch, etc. However, there's a generation coming on which has grown on Apple Pay, Google Wallets, and easy access to everything. That is the generation that has no relationship with the financial institution, and for good reasons, right? They're all tech savvy. They want to do everything. But the problem is most of the financial institutions in this country have absolutely no technology whereabouts in their entire process. Which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is. And I know when I look backwards, even like 20 years ago or so, and when things were started to change, my vision always looked at the financial and insurance as well. Insurance isn't from the financial industry. I said they're going to be the last ones to come aboard. And even though they're still bringing the old technology or the old way of doing things. All the it's just too cumbersome. With like we talked about the questions and different things like that. It just needs to be more automated, and we put our information in. It should spit out some of those things that they used to do on the paper. But they came in kicking and screaming.
Yeah. Hey, look, the Steve Jobs got on the stage, pushed his thumb up there and said, one day I'm going to have this thumb is going to control your phone. Well, guess what? What was it? Probably 15, 20 years back. We should be able to take your phone, push your thumb on it, and essentially get all your information in and complete an application. Yep. I can speak for Loan Mantra, right? And that is exactly what we are doing. We have mapped out the 537 data fields that will be required to essentially... But unfortunately, that's the reality, right? But those 537 data fields, you know what's the most amazing thing about that? You need only 27 data fields to complete the remaining 500 plus data fields. Think about that.
Yeah, it's the information
It's
reusable. Excuse me, it's not
reusable, absolutely. And unfortunately, it's the human factor that plays the impact. And it's the willingness to adopt. I am hopeful that we as entrepreneurs are in a time space where there's an ability for us to make those redundancies go off, make those transformative changes, and essentially help these businesses grow.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
fingers crossed to that. I'm actually truly being just using the new technology and everything that's coming up. I'm quite positive that there's a genuine change coming about it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, and I'm going to stay on that train, yeah, or that super highway. I'm going to stay on that.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you are the tech diva after all. You got this. I have full hopes in that.
Oh, I'm just surround myself with smart folks, and I
And
told you about retiring from the university. Those were some smart folks that I
there
worked
you go.
around. Okay.
Absolutely. Oh, I love a university environment. They are my minds who are always thinking and talking about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that, yeah, I love that. But I digress.
No,
But
no,
anyways,
no, absolutely.
yeah. So, do you have an offer for our audience today? Well, how can we get in touch and what's happening?
No, absolutely. So look, on Loan Mantra, we have all the resources available for you. It's not just a technology platform. As I said, we're an advisory company also. We are always looking to connect with our small business owners. If you go on loanmantra.com, go to the resources section. There's a whole bunch of information. There's a checklist available for you. My team works extremely hard to essentially have a knowledge base in there. We do weekly news podcasts. We do we do webinars sometimes. We have, look, one of the best things I can speak about on our website. If you scroll down middle of the page is the amortization schedule. How
Mm.
many times have I gotten a phone call from a business owner saying, Raj, buying a business. I'm thinking of buying this, but can you tell me what my monthly principal and interest is going to be?
Oh, wow.
Audrey. Exactly. One would think it's a very simple thing. So what we have done is we have essentially gone ahead and created a tool like that on Loan Mantra. Please sign up for our newsletter. My team again works very hard to get industry level information. This is tax season. For the next 2-3 months, we will be talking about things that the IRS is doing. There's always what's new programs that are coming out. SBA has every now and then new things coming out. Some financial institutions in the beginning of the year, you'll always see that some institutions come in for a year or two, bring in go very aggressive in the market to get market share. We are providing that information. So instead of going around 10 different places, we have all those resources built in. And most importantly, I cannot harp on it enough, is create an account for yourself on loanmantra.com. You do not have to work with us directly, but you can go create an account, create that history for yourself.
Mhm.
When the time comes in and when you need it, it should be available to you.
Mhm.
It's exactly what Audrey said, right? I am so busy with everything I'm doing, right? Except the
Yeah.
problem with that is the system's available to you 24/7. I know when I've seen this trend happening. Most of my business owners are working till 7 or 8, and then sometime I see them, most of them log in after 9 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
What happens, what I'm thinking is happening is they've done the work, they've done the time with the family, and that quiet time, they're updating and uploading all the information.
Mhm.
What that tells me is like you're creating a story for yourself, for your future. You're getting prepared. And the best part is we have a diverse lender base on our platform. We have business owners who are looking for a simple $100,000 working capital. We have business owners who are looking for 15 to $18 million to buy real estate, all of that. And we have vetted them out. We have gone ahead and we have a scoring model that we use to, analyze all the lenders that we work right from the touch when they come in to their knowledge of the product and how their execution process works and the whole thing. So we've done all the work. It end of the day it comes down to connect with us. I'm always available. There's a contact us page which somebody other will always respond to you. Connect with me on LinkedIn. We have social media. Team works extremely hard on Facebook, Instagram. Nowadays, the way to connect is super easy. And look, the more people come to us and tell us, hey, this is what I need, that it also helps us in providing that service better to our small business community. So looking forward to connecting on this.
Spring into action. Save the date for Q2 of Elevating the You and Entrepreneur Virtual Business Summit, April 24th through the 26th. For pre-early bird registration, visit bit.ly/springintooaction2025. bit.ly/springintooaction2025.
Before we close out, is there anything else that you need to share with us today?
Yeah, I think Audrey, thank you so much for having me. I mean, this was quite an interesting conversation. I mean, I always enjoy talking to you. And again, to all my small business owners, good luck. Congratulations on joining the journey. We're here to help and we'd love to work with you guys.
Awesome. Well, Raj, really appreciate your time today. Thanks again.
Thank you for listening to The Business Chops. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guests and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businesschop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.